She can't build here. Her ugly house is blocking the view." Karen's shrill voice echoed across the quiet hillside as I hammered the last plank of my porch. I looked up, confused. The land had been empty for decades, just a rocky slope overlooking the valley. "You mean my house? On my land?" I asked, brushing the dust off my jeans. Karen marched forward with two men carrying clipboards, her HOA badge swinging like it meant something. "This entire hill belongs to the Hillside Vista HOA. You violated our building codes. Tear it down or we'll sue you." I laughed. "Your HOA stops at the sign down the road. This isn't your hill." She smirked. "You'll regret saying that. You're ruining the million-dollar view of our residence." A few neighbors gathered, whispering. One man in a golf cap said, "Isn't that the land that was up for auction last year?" "Exactly," I replied, trying to keep my voice calm. "I bought it legally, paid cash." Karen's face tightened. "That auction was a mistake. We'll fix it in court. Enjoy your little shack while you can." She tossed a crumpled paper on my porch that read, "Notice of violation, unauthorized structure." 2 days later, I got served. The lawsuit claimed my house devalued their properties and obstructed the scenic vista guaranteed to HOA residents. I showed the papers to my friend Jake, a retired Marine who now worked in the county zoning office. He chuckled, shaking his head. "They don't have jurisdiction over your land. This is going to be fun." The first court hearing was packed. Karen came dressed like she owned the place, carrying photos of my half-built home and pointing at them as if she'd caught me committing a crime. "Your Honor, this man illegally constructed on protected HOA hillside and ruined our view," she declared. The judge glanced at me, then back at her. "Ma'am, are you saying he built on his own land?" Karen hesitated. A week passed quietly. Too quietly. I had just finished painting the porch railings when a tow truck rumbled up the dirt road, followed by Karen's shiny black SUV. "Step away from the vehicle," the driver barked. "That's my truck," I said, dropping the brush. Karen leaned out her window with a smug smile. "Not anymore. You failed to pay your HOA dues, so we're impounding it until you settle the balance." I laughed in disbelief. "I'm not even part of your HOA." She pulled out a sheet of paper with their logo. "According to this notice, you owe $3,500 in back fees for obstructing the view and damaging community aesthetics." "You can't just make up bills and tow people's trucks," I said, stepping between the tow truck and my pickup. The driver hesitated. "Lady, I don't see this property listed on your HOA map." "Do it," Karen snapped. "He's lying." I pulled out my phone and started recording. "Touch my truck, and you'll be the one explaining this to the sheriff." Karen's grin faltered for just a second before she hissed, "Call them. We'll see who they believe." I did. 10 minutes later, Deputy Collins arrived, a tall, calm man who'd known my family for years. Karen rushed to him first, waving her notice in his face. "Officer, arrest him! He's refusing to comply with our regulations." The deputy looked at the paper, then at her. "Ma'am, this land is outside your HOA boundaries. You have no authority here." Karen's cheeks flushed red. "But he's ruining our view." Collins' tone hardened. "That's not a crime." He turned to the tow driver. "Unload the hook. If you touch that truck again, you'll be facing charges for trespassing." The tow driver muttered an apology and drove off. Karen stood frozen, clutching her useless notice. As she stormed back to her SUV, she glared at me. "You got lucky this time." Jake, who had been watching from my porch with his coffee, chuckled. "She's not done. People like her never stop when they think they're losing." That night, I found a bright red sticker slapped on my front door. "Final eviction warning. Unauthorized occupant." My stomach sank. But the next morning, I played the footage from the night before, and my jaw clenched.
The camera caught Karen sneaking up the hill at midnight, flashlight in hand, peeling the sticker from her folder and slapping it on my door. She even posed for a picture with her phone, like she was documenting a real eviction. Jake whistled low when he saw it. "She's building a case against you with fake evidence. This isn't just harassment, this is fraud." I wasn't sure whether to laugh or be angry. She really thinks she can scare me off my own land? By noon, I received another surprise, a letter in the mail from the county clerk's office. According to the document, someone had filed a petition to declare my house a hazard to the community's natural viewscape. The petition had over 50 signatures, most from HOA members who lived miles away. I drove to the clerk's office and asked about it. The woman at the desk scanned the papers and frowned. "Half these signatures don't match the registered voters' names. Looks like someone's been creative." On my way home, I passed the HOA's community center. Through the glass doors, I spotted Karen speaking passionately to a small crowd. A man in a suit was nodding along, jotting notes. She saw me drive by and smiled like a cat that had cornered a mouse. That evening, Jake knocked on my door holding a folder. "You're going to want to see this," he said, dropping it on my kitchen table. Inside were copies of old zoning maps and property records from when the HOA first formed. My land, shaded in pale blue, had been marked as unincorporated private property, clearly outside the HOA's reach. "So technically," I began. Jake grinned. "Technically, you could block their only scenic trail if you wanted to, but we'll keep that card in our pocket, for now." That night, as I was locking up, headlights swept across my yard. Karen's SUV stopped at the end of my driveway. She rolled down her window and shouted, "Enjoy your little cabin while it lasts. You're about to learn how expensive it is to fight us." Before I could answer, she sped off into the darkness, leaving me with one thought. Whatever she had planned next, it was not going to be legal.
A few days later, I was served with yet another court summons. This time, Karen had gone all in. She claimed my cabin violated heritage preservation rules, insisting the hill was part of a protected historic zone. When I showed the papers to Jake, he burst out laughing. "She's throwing spaghetti at the wall now. None of this holds up." Still, I felt the pressure. Court dates, lawyer fees, it was draining. But I wasn't about to let her bully me off my land. The final hearing was set for a Friday morning. The courtroom was crowded again. HOA members filled the benches, whispering and pointing at me as if I were some outlaw. Karen strutted in with a folder so thick it looked like a college thesis. She opened with her usual theatrics. "Your Honor, this individual has repeatedly ignored our regulations, caused significant mental distress to our community, and destroyed the aesthetic harmony of Hillside Vista." The judge raised an eyebrow. "Destroyed the harmony? How?" Karen pointed dramatically at a blown-up photo of my cabin. "This eyesore blocks the view of our sunsets." I stayed silent, letting my attorney, a calm, silver-haired man named Grant, take the lead. Grant stepped up with the old zoning maps and the easement documents Jake had found. "Your Honor, my client's property has never been part of the HOA. In fact, the easement clause here predates the HOA entirely and gives him authority over the only access road leading to their scenic trail." A murmur rippled through the room. Karen shifted uncomfortably in her chair. Grant continued, "Furthermore, we have security footage showing Ms. Karen trespassing on my client's land at night, posting fraudulent eviction notices." He held up still images from the footage. The judge leaned forward, studying the photos. "Ma'am, is this you on his porch at midnight?" Karen's voice cracked. I was just checking for safety hazards." The judge sighed. "Enough. The court finds that the HOA has no jurisdiction over the defendant's land." The lawsuit is dismissed, and I strongly advise the HOA to cease further harassment or legal action will be taken against them." Karen's mouth opened and closed like she wanted to argue, but nothing came out. As we walked out, Jake clapped me on the back. "Told you it'd be fun." Outside the courthouse, Karen tried one last jab. "You might have won today, but this isn't over." I turned to her, calm but firm.